So my audio was cut out, or my audio wasn't cut. My mic was covered for this opening, but basically, like, I got my candy, I got my drink, I got everything ready, and it's Fire and Ash night. It's my first time watching it since seeing it in theaters. I only saw it 4 times in theaters, so this will be the first time. It's a pretty big deal, if I say so myself. Um, and yeah, so uh, that'll be this video, little watch party.
Yes, Spider. I've heard all about you. Troublemaker. You are alive for the first time, and your spirit will live in Awa.
Our love will never fade away. We're diamonds in the dark.
Alrighty, we just got done watching Fire and Ash for the first time on Blu-ray, the first time at home, and it was just as good as it was in theaters. It's obviously jaw-droppingly beautiful and gorgeous. Um, my TV, I'm so glad I got a good TV, and I have my Xbox One to play Blu-rays. Best investment ever. I could never go back to streaming, um, certain movies that I really want the highest quality of. And Avatar, of course, is one of those. Um, Weirdly enough, I did kind of have a technical, like, glitch. I was worried it would continue throughout the whole movie, but around whenever Kitty saves Spider and allows him to breathe the Pandora air, it was like flickering. It was flickering black, just faintly. I was just a little confused. it was definitely noticeable, which is a little worrying. Um, but anyways, yeah. Other than that, it sounded great. It looked great, and yeah, it was just a great time. Um, you know, I had my substances, and I had a Dr. Pepper. I had my candy. I was very ritualistic with it. Of course, doing a movie night as well. I haven't done a movie night quite like this, where it's a pseudo vlog. Um, and as for the movie is really, really good. It's not quite the masterpiece Way of Water was. It's not quite as emotional. It doesn't quite capture the awe and the terror of Pandora as much as Way of Water does. Well, I guess it does capture the terror pretty well. They do go in some darker areas with Varang, but she's a really good character. There's just something missing to where she's not a great character. They've got something interesting going with her and Quaritch, and they have a dynamic, but I just feel like, maybe a flashback would have worked instead of her talking about her past to Quaritch. I'm not really sure. It's pretty clear they didn't want to do too many flashbacks. They wanted to keep the story going and going. And it does a good job of doing that. Things move very fast. It's very well paced. It's a breeze. There's just kind of more moving parts than Way of Water, and that makes it a little bit more discombobulated. Especially by the end. Really, my biggest problem with Fire and Ash is Quaritch and Varang's character by the end. Um, they're just they kind of just surrender. Both of them, you see them defeated by our hero. Kitty defeats Varang, and Jake defeats Quaritch, and they kind of both just fuck off. They kind of go away. And maybe one last dialogue scene between Jake and Quaritch would have made it feel more complete, and it would make it feel more wrapped up naturally. Um, the last thing Quaritch says is, "Oh, this is awkward," or it's one of the last things he says. I just feel like they could have, for your third movie, or potentially last Avatar movie, I think you really had to go big emotionally. It doesn't quite go big emotionally. Even if there is a good emotional foundation between Quaritch wanting to save Miles and Jake also wanting to save Miles, Spider. So I think it's really, really great though. We get more Awa stuff through Kitty, and it's explained just enough to where it's not like spoon fed to you, but there's a little left to interpretation. Um, and she's who ultimately defeats Varang, which she's obviously the belief to Varang's disbelief, and it's obviously showing like the paths that lead you to either one of those. And Cameron, talked in interviews about like the cycle of hate and the cycle of, oh, you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt somebody else. And Varang is stuck in that cycle, um, and I think we can all kind of relate to that in a way. Maybe we're not, um, blowing stuff up and using fire to our advantage. But I think wanting vengeance on people and wanting to get back at people is a very human thing. The Schadenfreude, or however you say it, of getting pleasure out of other people's pain or discomfort, that's a real thing. So that's a theme in the movie. Um, Religion and belief and family is another big theme. I feel like I understand why Jake is still kind of hard on the kids, and he's still kind of a hard ass. And obviously he's still sweet to like Kitty and the girls. I just feel like it would have felt like Way of Water had more impact and more lingering like effects if Jake was just kind of more of a better dad and less of a hard ass. You know, even though I understand it within the story, while there are interesting parallels to his arc in the first movie, you know, him having to be Torok Makto again, it does feel a little bit like a retread. Him having to see Loak and getting over Neteyam's death. They're all in grief, you know. They all handle it differently, and I guess Jake is regressing a little bit through his grief, and Neytiri's just wanting to put that onto Spider, and she blames Spider. And, you know, Kitty and Loak obviously want to keep Spider. It's just it's all very dynamic. And I really, really hope that, man, I just think, like, would you really have Darth Vader just fall away? You know, if you don't have that last dialogue scene between Luke and Vader at the end of Jedi, it doesn't really, it just would not hit as well. That scene is what completes the whole movie. I just feel like Fire and Ash didn't quite have a scene like that. The end scene with Spider being accepted by the people is great. I think that's a good last scene. But before that, with our actual characters, like not in the spirit world, could have been it just feels like something's missing. So that's why, like, I'm a little bit more mixed on Fire and Ash, but I still think it has a lot going on. It continues everything from Way of Water in an amazing way. It's kind of like the Dark Knight trilogy or the original Star Wars trilogy. Like, it follows the same quality of the first one, the second one, and the third one, in my opinion. So really good times. I'm glad I got to watch it. Even if it's 4 a.m., you know, I definitely fell asleep once. You know, I had to take a little nap break right before the final battle, which is like the perfect time to. Oh yeah, and then some of the best scenes in the movie, the Tulkun court scene of the monarchy. I mean, those scenes are amazing. Loak standing up for Payakan. People write these movies off and handwave these movies. If you don't feel something when Loak stands up for Payakan, we must fight. Oh, that should get you going. That should give you goosebumps. Absolutely, it works for me. Loak takes more of a center stage and he gets the narration, and I think that is done well. It's just a lot more going on than Way of Water. It's a little bit more focused, even if the action, the characters, and the spirituality and wonder of Pandora are still there from the first two movies. So that's about it from me. I got to ramble a little bit. I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely enjoyed making this one, obviously. And here's to more Avatar videos in the future. Thank you.